All right, welcome to another episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey. We have our co-host, Mr. Dan Gandy. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. And we have the one and only Danny. Danny B on the show, and he was a broker and an agent, but now a coach. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Norman. Thanks for having me, man. I'm super excited to chat with you guys today and with your audience, and hopefully bring a lot of value and help with everything that your audience has questions about, and really help you guys with everything you're doing.
Fantastic. We really appreciate that. Starting off the show, I want to learn a little bit about you, your business. So how long you've been in the business, and what do you do over at your coaching practice?
Sure, Norman. So, I actually was an attorney for about 3 years. I went to law school, got an MBA. Growing up in Southern California in a Russian immigrant family, there were only 3 classes of people. There were your doctors, your lawyers, and everyone else. I'm using the nice way to put that. And so, I picked being a lawyer. I thought that would be fun. I did that for 3 years. It was not fun. It was boring. You were sitting in an office reading contracts all day, but it did give me some great background and experience. And so this was back in 06, 07, when the market was so hot. And I got my broker's license, started helping some people buy and sell real estate at my law firm. And I really enjoyed that a lot more. I loved the deal, the negotiation, all that kind of stuff. And so I took off and I started my own brokerage right away, which in hindsight was probably a mistake. But I did it with my wife. She was a lawyer as well. And then we had our own brokerage for a really long time. And we built up a real estate team before teams were really in vogue, and we ran that, and it imploded several times. We rebuilt it. We learned from our mistakes. And then we affiliated with a national company with our team. And then I got into the brokerage business. So I bought up a couple of franchises and started running those, and realized that I actually like running my team way better than babysitting a bunch of agents. So actually at the end of last year, we made the transition. We sold off our brokerages and left that and just focused on our real estate team. But then what happened about 4 years ago is I started coaching agents, and I realized really that is my true passion and my mission, because I just found that such a huge, overwhelming percentage of agents don't succeed. They don't really have the systems and the tools and the training and the accountability. And so when I started really enjoying that, that's when I started building my coaching business and my coaching practice. And so now, that is really my main focus. I still have my real estate team, and we sell real estate in Southern California, and that's doing really, really well. But I coach my agents on my team the exact same way that I coach my independent agents across the country. That is my story in about a minute.
No, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, I already actually answered a couple of the next questions that we had for you. So it sounds like you're the coach there, and it sounds like the location is located in Los Angeles, but you coach across the nation. Is that right?
Yeah, so my real estate team, Discover Properties, is affiliated with Compass now, and that is located here in Southern California. So we sell real estate all throughout Southern California. But yeah, my coaching practice, I coach agents all across the country, U.S. only for now, but we're looking next year at getting into other markets as well.
That's awesome. What's the best part about, now that you're a coach going into that realm, what's the best part about being a coach?
Norman, I will tell you, I really do get a lot of satisfaction seeing my clients achieve their goals. I'm very goal oriented. Maybe it's that kind of Russian, old guard, but I love seeing my clients hit their goals. We're very big into numbers, systems. This is not yes, with some clients, I would say we have some touchy-feely type coaching calls, but ultimately, I'm a production coach. I kind of see it as, the Bill Parcells statement of, you are what your record says you are. Mm-hmm. And I say that to my clients all the time. Hey, you are what your scoreboard says you are. So we have all of my clients have a scoreboard, and they know that that's where we're going to start the call. They always want to start the call with the story, right? of why something happened or why they didn't do it. But that's my biggest satisfaction, is seeing my clients progress, seeing my clients achieve their goals, and really seeing them create a real business out of real estate that's predictable, that's profitable, that's fun, and that allows them to have a tangible asset versus just, working until they're 80 years old and prospecting every morning.
Wow. I love that. That's awesome.
Totally. So I have just a plethora of different questions, and I'll kind of gear it towards maybe more of a coaching perspective and what you would suggest. So let's run through it. So sure. Just in general, what would you say is the number one lead source right now for most agents?
Dan, 100% database. Database, the people the people that know you, trust you, like you, and all of the offshoots from that, so everyone that they're going to refer to you. I think especially with the pandemic, it's really exposed a lot of businesses. Obviously, here in Southern California, we can't hold open houses, can't really door knock. A lot of the things that some agents maybe did in the past are not really working as well. And so having a database and really understanding how to systematically nurture that business and create business out of that and create a return on your investment out of your database is no question number one.
Nice. And that, I guess, would go directly to prospecting new business in that database, or selecting an area where you want to do more business and grabbing that data and cold calling. Would that be correct?
Yeah, so Dan, it's interesting. Whenever I meet with a client, the first thing I do obviously is kind of figure out where their business is now. Like, where are you getting your business now? Because my thing is, if something's working, let's keep doing it. So, different clients are doing different things that are working. But when we talk about database, what I look for when we talk about percentages is I want to see at least a 10% return on your database before you start going out and spending money and time on other lead sources. So, just as a numbers example, if you have 300 people in your database that you're nurturing, you better be getting at least 30 transactions a year, 10% out of that database before you go start spending money on, all kinds of other crazy stuff. Because what I find with agents is they're always looking for that next magic pill, right? And they start spending money all over the place, but they're not maximizing that database first. And the business is sitting there. If you just work your database properly, the repeat, referral, and all of that stuff is right there for you. I know it doesn't sound as sexy as going and spending money online, but it's right there for you if you can just maximize your conversion and your ROI, return on investment, on that database.
Great information.
That's awesome.
And then in terms of when they are ready to, jump into the sphere of online advertising or digital,
sure.
Is it website and SEO? Is it paid lead generation through platforms like Zillow? Is it social media, strategy and tact? What do you think is, the hottest thing?
Yeah, so Dan, good question. I'm going to back this up just a tiny bit and tell you that the first thing I start out with when I talk to my clients is I want to know, and I think they need to know, who is their target market, right? So I ask them a couple questions. Number one, who is your target market? Who do you want to serve? So many real estate agents want to be all things to all people. And so if you start with the question of, where should I be? Should I spend my time on Facebook or Instagram or whatever? I think you're asking the wrong question. The question you really need to ask is, number one, who's your target market? And then number two, where does that target market hang out, right? And I'll give you a great example. I have an agent buddy of mine that I started coaching, and he asked me that too. Hey, should I be on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, or what should I do? And I asked him, hey, well, what's your passion? Like, what do you do? And this particular client said, hey, I love Porsches and I love fast cars, right? So what we did is we had him join a local Porsche club, okay? And join a Facebook group associated with that Porsche club. And he started going to the events. Well, this guy is now crushing it in luxury real estate, all out of that Porsche club and everyone he's met through that, right? And the Facebook group associated with that, and Instagram, because they all watch, pictures and videos of themselves on doing all these events. So for that guy, that was the right strategy. For someone else, it may not be. So, that I think is the key, is really knowing and understanding who your target market is from a marketing perspective, where those people hang out, what social platforms they're on, and then how you can get in front of them. So it might be LinkedIn, it might be YouTube. We don't know, because it's so specific for that agent.
Totally. No, it's good.
Yeah.
And that's what we've kind of been preaching as a positioning agency is like, if you don't know your target market, or if you're not going to niche down in a specific type of real estate, then, or you're not an expert in something, you're spraying and praying and hoping that something sticks. So no,
I like that. I like that phrase.
yeah, it's right on. Just a couple more questions. I know we're supposed to do a lightning round, but since you're a coach, it's a little bit different. So,
Sure.
Is there a favorite CRM that you suggest or you refer out to people? Just wanted to get that insight.
Yes, the one that you will use every single day.
It's a great answer.
So I'll tell you, we've used so many different CRMs in my time in real estate. As I mentioned, my team's at Compass now. I think their technology is great, but it's not like earth-shattering. It's just something that my agents are using, right? But, there's so many good ones. I do think, Dan, what I will say on that is it depends on where you are in the life cycle of your business. If you're an individual agent, then you don't need a full suite like a Boomtown or like a Conversion. I just think it's overkill, right? But as you grow, you want something that's going to grow with you. I think ease of use, intuitiveness, and again, something that you're actually going to use. Because the biggest thing with CRMs is agents get them, they spend a lot of money, and then they never look at them. So I will tell you that I have agents that are successful using simple stuff like a Real Geeks or just a little standalone CRM or whatever. And then I have people that invest thousands of dollars into like a Boomtown or something like that. They love that. So I think it's personal preference, but the key is find something that you really like, that's intuitive, and that you will use every single day.
That's a good answer. We had Dan Corkle from Follow Up Boss last week on here, and I signed up and I've been using it, and it's awesome from a single agent perspective. And then when you're ready and you want to go into team mode, it has all those capabilities, but just super easy and streamlined, and like keeps you. Their follow up and their support was ridiculous. So
Awesome.
It was just there's many options out there, but that was just one we've dabbled in.
Yeah, that totally works.
Last question for me on my side is, is there a piece of technology right now that once an agent's got their business up and running, they're turning a bunch of sides, they got the CRM, they got their farms kind of identified, they got their database rolling. Is there a new piece of technology that you are starting to dabble in or refer out?
Yeah, Dan. So I will tell you, I don't know if this is a new piece of tech, but I will tell you that a lot of my clients are seeing so much success with YouTube. And we chatted about, our YouTube channel before we started. It's something that during the pandemic we've invested and starting to invest a lot of time into. A lot of the agents that I coach are getting so many referrals and so much business out of their YouTube channel, which was surprising to me when I first saw it, but it does make sense. It's the #2 search engine. You can rank your videos. They'll stay there forever. I have a client of mine out in Florida that gets literally daily emails saying, hey, I watched your videos about moving to this or moving to that, and I want to work with you. It's a fantastic way to increase your video presence, but not just that, increase your presence overall online. So I would say after your CRM and all that stuff is mastered, if you had to go to one thing, I would go to YouTube.
You're preaching to the choir here, guy. Like we've been integrating YouTube into our like marketing stack for so long for our agents that they've been streamlining into the auto feeding into their homepage, trying to coach them on different categories and content to do. And the people who have taken it and really embraced it, you can Google search their city and they come up. They're like the first video. So exactly. Great info. Well, that's all I got right now. So why don't we turn it over to Norman?
You got it.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. And not to mention, too, to kind of add to that, Danny, monetizing. After you monetize a video, to be able to get paid for that ad revenue, I have an agent that's up. He's actually up right now in Canada, and he started in the business, engineer, got into the business, eXp Realty. Now he's building a team. He's now actually giving real estate professionals, his name is Mike Sherrard. He was on our show as well. He's giving a lot of agents tips, suggestions, and things to do. He broke $50,000 last month in just ad revenue. So to think about how you could be able to not just target your specific demographic, but put out content where you can then have passive residual income from here's a buyer process, here's a seller process, here's the interviews of the local city that I specialize because I'm authority, because I'm an expert in this market. Like, it's amazing. And for our viewers and listeners out there, they can take advantage of this. And it's just like, no other social media is going to pay for you to do that.
Exactly. You know, when I was doing the research, I was like, okay, you know, Instagram is great, but the problem is it's not a search engine. So people are not going to find you there. You know,
Yep.
YouTube is a search engine. And so if you do it right, I mean, that's awesome. And those are good numbers. I'm going to have to aspire to that now. Thanks a lot,
Yeah.
Norman.
Exactly. No worries. No worries. Hence, that's why we have a video podcast on YouTube for our viewers and listeners, because yes, there's a lot of awesome opportunity. Unless you're a Joe Rogan, you get bought out like he did.
Yes.
You know, you can get actually paid quicker and faster with having a video podcast on YouTube. So
For sure.
going into more of like your coaching business and the nitty gritty and getting into maybe like a success story. So can you maybe enlighten us and give us a story about someone who's used your coaching platform that was coachable, that you worked with, that took who knows how long to start seeing return on investment? They got that 10% from their database. They then invested that into some technology, and now they're like a success case for you. Can you go ahead and give us one of your stories, and what does that time look like for success if they did exactly what this story or this case would have done?
Yeah, for sure, Norman. I mean, I have a bunch. I'll give you one that comes to mind. I have an agent that I coach up in Washington. When we started working together, she was just an individual agent. You know, she didn't have any staff. She was tracking for about 40 deals a year, but getting very burnt out, right? Because she was doing everything on her own.
A hustle.
And so, and also, you know, one of the things that I'm a big proponent of that we haven't talked about, this isn't tech, this isn't sexy, but I'm going to give it to you, is raising the commission that you charge. You know, I think that there's been such a downward pressure on commissions over the last, 5-10 years, maybe even year. And a lot of agents feel that pressure and start lowering their fees to compete with, the discount, the limited service brokerages. So one of the first things that I work on with a client is raising your fee based upon your expertise, your standards, and all of that kind of stuff, right? And that can have a huge impact on your bottom line in your business. I've run the numbers. If you raise your fee, for example, by 1%, and you keep that extra 1%, it increases your net profit by 40%, right, guys? So that's huge. Yeah. And we work on the scripts and the dialogues and the presentation and the positioning that you need in order to be able to talk about that and show the client that you're worth it, because it's not a parlor trick, right? You have to show them that you're worth that extra fee and that you're going to net them more money. But once you do that, it's huge what that can do to your P&L. And so just wanted to say that as a preface. So my client up in Washington, we started out, she was an individual agent. She was charging a lower fee because everyone else is discounting, so I have to also. And so within a span of 6 months, we were able to raise her fee on average almost 1%, right, across the board. So that raised her net profit by 40%. Hey, that paid for coaching for the next 15 years as an offshoot. And we were able to hire 2 staff members for her. So she has a full-time marketing person, and also a full-time director of operations. And now we are working on hiring her first 2 agents on her team. So the result of that is, I believe she's tracking in that first year working together for about 75 transactions. So it's about a 50% increase in deals. More importantly, I believe she's going to double her net profit this year, right? Which is really the biggest thing. And now we're going to start working on building out that team. She's implemented systems with her director of operations. They have an operations manual now, which they didn't have before, and all kinds of stuff like that. So that is for me, when you asked me initially on the show what my satisfaction is from coaching, there it is right there. To see someone go from, hey, I'm by myself, it's all on me, if I'm sick, I don't make any money, to now having built the beginning and the foundation of a great business that's systematized, that's predictable, and that's profitable. Very, very profitable business there.
Wow, that's awesome. And people will pay a premium, right? At the end of the day, if you support what you're doing, these agents, and you give them the confidence that they need so they can be a thought leader, they can be an expert within a demographic or a space that they want to be able to be a specialist in, then it gives them the ability to make more money, which is awesome that you're putting that out there for them to think about, because of all of these Redfins of the world and these discount brokers. They almost think they need to compete with price, but they don't.
No, they don't. I mean, Norman, there have been so many studies done that, sellers really are not as price conscious as, the commercials from Redfin would have you believe. They really aren't. I mean, the statistic is that I tell all my clients or agents, anyone will listen really, over 70% of people hire like the first or second agent that they meet with. That's all you need to know. Right? So they're not that price conscious, right? So every time, and it's interesting, Norman, every time I do this study and I meet an agent, I'll have them go out and hey, on your next 5 listing presentations, just for fun, like throw out a really high listing fee and see what happens. And what's crazy is that over 50% of the time, there is no resistance from the seller. It's just like, okay, like if you've given me I preface it with, if you've given me a great presentation, I believe in the value you provide, and I believe in the results you're going to give me, it's fine, right? And so we work on, and it makes you a better agent because we work on that listing presentation, on the negotiation skills, and all of those things so that they can command that premium fee.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. I see it on the investment side with investment properties and commercial, like as we go from 500,000 to $1.5 million, like everyone's trying to push the commission down, but what people don't understand is in a commercial deal, like you have to run APODs, you're running so much due diligence, there's like so much time in marketing in the front end, and I always say like that commission doesn't go down. If anything, it's going up. So it's you're spot on with that.
Yeah, I love that. So in the coaching side of things, Danny, do you have anything that's up and coming, something new that you're working on that our listeners and viewers should look out for, especially maybe if they even want to check out your services?
Yeah, for sure, Norman. So, in the past, historically, my thought was, going back to like doing what I'm preaching, my target market really, when I think about it, is, agents that want to build teams, agents that see themselves as a professional that want to build a business, right? And so I've always kind of targeted that group. Well, what I realized, earlier this year is, there are so many agents that maybe are either just starting out or they just can't build some momentum initially. That I can help with my programs and services if I had something available to them. So, what I did is in addition to everything we're doing with kind of our higher end, business clients, is we also created some programs for people like that. And they're on the website. I see you have it up behind you. Thank you so much, you guys, which is just coachdannyb.com or my name, Danny Batsalkin. Either one will take you to the same place. And so we developed some programs for agents like that so that they can get a foothold in their market, so that they can get started, and it's all really customized for them in their area with results around that. So that's something that is new this year that I'm really excited about. We're getting some great feedback, some great results from people going through that program.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, it's great that you have flexibility. I saw some of your programs. I saw some of the things that you're offering, which is great for individuals that are really hands-on or hands-off, or they can do it themselves. So that's a great approach.
Yeah.
I want to go into a question that I think is on a lot of people's mind when it comes to technology disrupting the real estate industry. As we know, probably now after COVID, 90 to 95% of the business is done by the top 10% of real estate professionals. And now with technology and open door and things coming to automate the actual process, and we know how real estate agents actually operate in their own businesses. They're actually not really running their businesses as they should, hence why 90% of the real estate professionals are doing 10% of the actual transaction volume across America and even maybe around the world. What's your predicament, or how do you feel what's going to happen to this market as technology starts to disrupt more and more and more with that other 90% of agents out there that are doing only 10%?
Yeah, for sure, Norman. I think this is a great question and a great topic. For me, I feel like real estate will always be a high touch business, a contact sport, right? If you will. I played football, so I got to make at least one football reference during the show. So, the thing with real estate is that, yes, you can buy a house over Zoom or over a video conference and all this kind of stuff. But I think because of the nature of, first of all, the price point, it's your most important, for most people, it's their highest priced asset. They're the biggest thing they'll ever buy. I always feel like there's going to be a need for exceptional agents that deliver on, or that deliver great value and great service. So the way I see technology is I see technology aiding and assisting in that process. I don't necessarily see technology taking over. Although, obviously Zillow would love for that to happen. Some of these other companies would love for it to just be tech with agents assisting the tech, right? The way I always see it is that I think the tech is always going to assist the agent. Hey, what that means though, is that as agents, we got to be on the forefront of what's going on. And it's so awesome that you guys are doing a show like this. So thank you so much for putting this information out there, right? Because agents have to be on the forefront. They got to know what's going on in their market. And they have to also know, I will say, Norman, where the eyeballs are going, right? So it's funny because people say, oh, tech is going to revolutionize real estate and all this kind of stuff. There's always around the same number of homes that sell every year, right? Mm-hmm. So the question is, where are the eyeballs? Where are people going when they're looking for an agent? Where are they going when they want to buy a house? I will tell you that for the most part, that hasn't changed that much either. They're going to the people they know. If their last agent followed up with them, which statistically they probably didn't, they're going to go to their last agent, right? That stat that like 70% of people would use their last agent, but only 17% do, or whatever it is, because the agent doesn't follow up. So I think it's important to know where the eyeballs are going and have that tech assist you. But at the same time, I don't feel like it's ever going to fully take over the process.
No, that's a good answer. I always felt like individuals will always pay a premium, especially in $1 million+ range. I mean, in California, that's a drop in a hat. But definitely in the higher range, I felt like no matter what, me personally, I would like to talk to someone and have that sense of, I don't want to sit on hold.
Right.
To get an operator. So awesome. Well, fantastic. Well, we really, really appreciate your time today. We will put your links down below. So if anyone wants to go ahead and check out your coaching platform, they can. I've already went into your YouTube channel and your Instagram and saw what you're doing. Love how you're giving back to the industry and really supporting and helping so agents could have more success with what they already currently are doing. And we really appreciate you being on the show today, Danny.
Yeah. Hey, Norman, Dan, thank you guys so much. I appreciate everything you guys are doing for the industry as well. It's so great to get good knowledge and information out there and help agents succeed. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks, of course. And thank you so much, Dan, for co-hosting today.
Yeah, as always.
And thanks to all of our listeners and viewers, as is our intention for you to take something from our episodes that you can apply to your business to have more massive success. And we'll see you on the next one.
Hope you found value. If you like the episode, give it a thumbs up. Comment below with what you learned. And if you go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll be notified for new podcast episodes coming out. Now, I want to go ahead and show you, if you see here on your screen, you can click join our Facebook group page, and you can go ahead and be a member of our community page. We love to be able to share what type of technology you're using on this page. And also, if you want to go ahead and do some networking all across the country, you can go ahead and network on this Facebook group page. If you're a real estate professional, focus on a specific niche, whether it's a buyer, specific type, seller, specific type, or a specific area. We would love to hear your story and how are you growing and scaling your business using technology to focus on that demographic. And if you're a technology owner, have a technology you want to share, and you want to be featured on Real Estate vs. Technology, the podcast, all you have to go ahead and do is send us an email at reversetechtalk@gmail.com, and we'll see you on the next one.